First contact and dismissal. The central chamber of the Galactic Concordat buzzed with anticipation. Nearly 500 representatives from across the known universe gathered for the quarterly survey reports. Supreme Overseer Xalthrix, a being composed of crystalline structures that reflected light in hypnotic patterns, called the session to order with a resonant hum that silenced the massive chamber. We proceed with the assessment of System R7829, Quadrant Beta 12, Xalthrix announced. Chief Surveyor Eladin will present findings from the preliminary expedition. Eladin, a six-limbed entity with liquid metal skin that rippled with each movement, glided to the central platform. The chamber darkened as holographic projections illuminated the space above them. Respected members of the Concordat, Eladin began. System R7829 contains 11 planetary bodies orbiting an unremarkable G-type star. Most conform to standard parameters: gas giants, ice worlds, and uninhabitable rocky masses. The hologram shifted to display a blue-green sphere swirled with white clouds. However, the third planet presents a curious anomaly. Eladin continued. This world, which natives designate Earth, exhibits environmental conditions that defy conventional habitability metrics. Murmurs ripple through the assembly as data scrolled alongside the holographic representation. Surface temperatures fluctuate between extremes that would kill most sentient species, often within single planetary rotations. The crust undergoes continuous tectonic activity, resulting in earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and unstable landmasses. Atmospheric composition includes high oxygen levels, considered dangerously combustible by Concordat standards, and the planet experiences violent weather patterns, including cyclonic storms, electrical discharges, and destructive wind formations. The hologram displayed towering hurricanes, lightning storms, and massive tsunamis crashing against coastlines. Furthermore, Eladin emphasized, nearly 70% of the surface is covered in dihydrogen monoxide. You mean water? Interrupted Representative Solar of the Aquatic Nebulon Collective. Yes, but in concentrations toxic to 90% of Concordat species, Eladin clarified. The gravitational pull measures 1.2 times the Concordat average, making prolonged surface operations challenging for most member races. Overseer Xalthrix's crystalline form pulsed with azure light. Your classification recommendation, Chief Surveyor. Based on comprehensive analysis, I recommend classifying this world as a Class D5, marginally habitable for primitive organisms only, with no potential for complex intelligent life development. Xalthrix turned to address the assembly. Does anyone object to the D5 classification? Silence answered. No member could fathom advanced life emerging from such hostile conditions. Classification approved, Xalthrix confirmed. Research vessel Astralis will conduct standard biological sampling. Captain Tavor, prepare your crew for departure within 3 cycles. Captain Tavor, a veteran explorer with translucent green skin stretched over an exoskeleton, acknowledged with a formal gesture. This would be a routine mission. Collect samples, catalog whatever simple organisms manage to survive in such a hellscape, and return. Nothing noteworthy. How wrong they were. 3 weeks later, the Astralis maintained high orbit above Earth. Captain Tavor stared at the sensor displays in disbelief. Run the analysis again, he ordered the science officer, Mariville, a being composed of interconnected neural nodes suspended in a containment field. I verified the results 6 times, Captain, Mariville responded, her neural nodes pulsing with agitation. The readings are consistent, but impossible. Explain the discrepancy, Tavor demanded. The preliminary surveys classified this planet as capable of supporting only rudimentary life forms, yet we're detecting. Mariville hesitated, complex artificial structures covering significant portions of the surface. And there's more. Thousands of manufactured satellites in orbit, global communication networks, and evidence of industrial activity. Tavor moved to the observation port and gazed at the blue-green world below. How could anything intelligent enough to build satellites emerge from such a hostile environment? Captain, called the communications officer, Vestra, her bioluminescent tendrils flashing with excitement. I'm intercepting countless transmission signals from the surface, structured, complex patterns consistent with advanced communication. Show me the surface, Tavor ordered. The main view screen displayed high-resolution imagery of Earth's surface. Tavor's respiratory system faltered momentarily as the impossible became undeniable. Sprawling cities, transportation networks, agricultural systems, and industrial complexes spread across continents. A global civilization, whispered Merivale. The Concordat's assessment protocols have been refined over 12,000 years. We don't make mistakes of this magnitude. Apparently we do, Tavor replied. Contact Concordat headquarters immediately. The response was swift. Supreme Overseer Zolthrix himself appeared on the communication screen, crystalline form pulsing with agitated red hues. Captain Tavor, your report defies all established scientific principles. Are you absolutely certain these structures are products of indigenous intelligence? Beyond doubt, Overseer. They have globally connected urban centers, transportation networks, communication systems, and primitive but functional space capabilities. What manner of beings could evolve intelligence under such conditions? Zolthrix demanded. Carbon-based bipedal mammals, Tavor reported. Relatively fragile physically, but with remarkable neural development and tool-making capabilities. Maintain observation protocols. Do not initiate contact, Zolthrix ordered. The Council requires time to deliberate on this unprecedented anomaly. After Zolthrix's image faded, Tavor turned to his crew. Continue passive scans. Let's learn everything possible about these humans. For 5 days, the astrally observed Earth from orbit, collecting data on human civilization. The more they discovered, the more astonishing the picture became. Their technological development is extraordinarily rapid, reported Merivale. They've advanced from primitive agrarian societies to space exploration within mere millennia, a development curve steeper than any recorded species in Concordat history. Their biology is equally remarkable, added Chief Medical Officer Lyrics. They demonstrate adaptability beyond any known species. They survive in deserts and Arctic regions alike, recover from injuries that would be fatal to most sentient beings, and their cognitive plasticity allows them to solve novel problems with unprecedented creativity. And their reproductive rate, Tavor prompted. Alarming, Lyrics confirmed. They can potentially double their population within a single century. Tavor processed this information silently. These humans were evolutionary outliers, adapted to survive conditions that the Concordat considered uninhabitable. Their existence challenged foundational principles of xenobiology. Captain, Vestra called suddenly. We're being scanned. Multiple radar systems from the planet are tracking us. Impossible, Tavor replied. Our cloaking technology exceeds their detection capabilities by centuries. Nevertheless, they've detected us, Vestra insisted. And now, they're attempting communication. Tavor hesitated. Orders were to maintain observation only, but if humans already knew they were there. Show me the message. The main screen displayed a simple mathematical sequence, prime numbers followed by basic geometric principles expressed in binary code. A universal hello. They're cleverer than anticipated, Tavor mused. Concordat protocol dictates immediate withdrawal and awaiting instructions. He stared at the screen, at the intelligent greeting from a species that should not exist by all Concordat understanding, a species that had evolved on a world of storms and earthquakes, of freezing winters and scorching summers, of predators and diseases and natural disasters, and had not merely survived, but built global civilization. Captain, prompted Vestra, shall we withdraw? Tavor made his decision. No. Prepare a response in kind. It's time we introduced ourselves to the impossible humans. But, sir, Concordat regulations will catch up to reality eventually, Tavor interrupted. These humans have already detected us. First contact is inevitable. I prefer it happen on our terms rather than theirs. As the astrales descended into Earth's atmosphere, Tavor couldn't help but feel that everything the Concordat thought it knew about habitable worlds and the evolution of intelligence was about to change forever. The Concordat's emergency assembly convened just 36 hours after Captain Tavor's unauthorized first contact with humans. The central chamber, usually ordered and ceremonial, crackled with tension as representatives argued amongst themselves. Supreme Overseer Xalthrix emitted a pulse of energy that silenced the chamber. This unprecedented situation requires clear thinking, not chaotic debate. The classification committee will answer for their error, but our immediate concern is how to proceed with these humans. Chief Xenobiologist Nestra, a being composed of semi-transparent gelatinous tissue revealing complex internal structures, stepped forward. Their physiological adaptability defies established principles. Their immune systems continuously evolve against pathogens. Their psychological profile shows both remarkable cooperative capacity and fierce individualism. They're simultaneously fragile and tenacious. Are they dangerous? Asked the security director, a bipedal entity encased in living armor. Paradoxical is the better term, Nestra replied. Their historical records show constant internal conflict, yet also extraordinary cooperation when facing external threats. They've developed weapons of mass destruction, but also art of breathtaking beauty. They're unpredictable, which makes them potentially dangerous. And now they know we exist, Xalthrix stated flatly. Captain Tavor reports their initial reaction was mixed, said diplomatic envoy Celera. Curiosity predominates, but there's significant fear. Their governments are scrambling to establish unified response protocols. We should send a proper diplomatic mission, Celera continued. A single research vessel cannot manage this situation adequately. Xalthrix's crystalline form shifted to a contemplative blue. Agreed. We'll dispatch the diplomatic vessel Harmony with full credentials and protective escort. I want experts in comparative biology, sociology, and technological assessment. The security director's armor plates shifted nervously. With respect, Overseer, we should consider the resource implications. Earth contains rare elements in quantities unseen in Concordat space. Perhaps this error in classification presents a unique opportunity. Xalthrix remained silent for a moment. Include resource assessment specialists in the diplomatic contingent. We shall explore all aspects of this unexpected discovery. 2 weeks later, the Concordat diplomatic vessel Harmony entered Earth orbit, accompanied by 3 support ships. Its mission: establish formal relations with humanity while conducting extensive research on both the species and their improbable homeworld, and assess potential resource extraction opportunities. Ambassador Celera could barely contain her excitement as the first human delegation boarded the Harmony for talks. As a diplomatic specialist, she participated in first contact with 17 species, but none that had evolved under conditions like Earth's. The human representatives, 7 individuals from different regions, appeared remarkably composed considering they were meeting extraterrestrials. They walked confidently despite the ship's gravity adjustments, which had been calibrated for Concordat physiology rather than human comfort. Welcome aboard the Harmony, Celera greeted them, her translator converting her melodic speech into English. I am Ambassador Celera, representing the Galactic Concordat. A human female stepped forward. I am Dr. Maya Chen, representing Earth's United Nations Special Committee on Extraterrestrial Contact. These are my colleagues from various continents. We are honored by this historic meeting. The formal introductions proceeded smoothly, but Celera noticed her scientific colleagues couldn't stop analyzing the humans. Their ability to function in the Harmony's environment, slightly different in gravity, atmospheric composition, and temperature than Earth's, without apparent discomfort. If I may ask, Dr. Chen said after preliminary discussions, why did your people choose not to contact us earlier? Our astronomical records show your vessels have observed our planet periodically for decades. Solara hesitated, choosing her words carefully. The Concordat follows strict protocols regarding emerging civilizations. We did not expect to find advanced intelligence on a world with Earth's environmental parameters. Dr. Chen smiled slightly. You thought our planet too hostile for intelligent life to evolve. To be frank, yes, Solara admitted. Your world experiences conditions that would be fatal to most Concordat species. Your adaptability is remarkable. Necessity breeds innovation, Ambassador, Chen replied. Perhaps our harsh environment is precisely why we've developed as we have. Solara nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps, and now that we have found each other, there is much we might accomplish together. The Concordat offers protection, technological exchange, and membership in our interstellar community. Protection from what, exactly? Asked another human delegate, his tone cautious. The universe contains many dangers, Solara answered smoothly. The Concordat ensures peace and stability for all member worlds. What Solara didn't mention was the resource assessment team already analyzing Earth's mineral wealth, or the Security Council's contingency plans should humans prove unreceptive to Concordat protection. Some opportunities were too valuable to leave to chance, even if it meant dealing with an impossible species on an impossible world. As the diplomatic talks continued on the Harmony, neither humans nor the Concordat representatives could anticipate how dramatically this first contact would alter both civilizations' futures. The ultimate test. 3 months after first contact, the diplomatic vessel Harmony remained in Earth orbit. Initial exchanges had been productive, cultural information shared, basic technological principles discussed, and preliminary trade agreements drafted. Yet something about the Concordat's protection offered left UN Security Council members uneasy. Colonel Samira Kader, head of Earth's newly formed Extraterrestrial Defense Intelligence Division, paced the Pentagon's secure conference room. Their resource assessment teams have visited every major mineral deposit on the planet, she reported, displaying satellite imagery on the wall screen. They're particularly interested in our rare earth elements, uranium, and something they call neutronium deposits in our ocean floors. General Weizhong frowned. Standard geological survey or something more. Their questions are too specific, too focused on extraction methods and processing capabilities. Keter replied. And there's more. Their cultural exchange personnel have extensively documented our military installations, power grids, and communication networks. That could be innocent curiosity, offered Dr. Raj Patel, the delegation's chief scientist. Their civilization is fundamentally different from ours. Perhaps they don't distinguish between civilian and military infrastructure. Perhaps, Keter conceded. But their vessel configurations have changed. The Harmony arrived with 3 support ships. Now there are 7 in high orbit, and our deep space telescopes have detected energy signatures consistent with weapons systems being brought online. President Alvarez, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke. What's your assessment, Colonel? We're being evaluated, Madam President, not just as potential allies, but as a potential acquisition. A heavy silence fell over the room. They initially classified Earth as uninhabitable, Dr. Patel noted. They never expected to find intelligent life here, let alone civilization. What if they see us as an anomaly, a mistake to be corrected, or resources to be claimed? Added General John grimly. President Alvarez stood. We continue diplomatic engagement, but accelerate our defensive preparations. Use every opportunity to learn about their technology, and establish back-channel communications with all major powers. If this turns hostile, Earth needs to stand united. Aboard the Harmony, Ambassador Solara reviewed the latest Security Council recommendations with growing discomfort. The assessment team confirms Earth contains the largest neutronium deposits in explored space, reported Security Director Morton, his living armor gleaming under the chamber lights. Enough to power the Concordat for centuries. The human extraction technology is primitive. They don't even recognize the element's potential. And the military assessment. Supreme Overseer Xalthrix asked, his crystalline form connected via quantum communication. Laughable, Morden replied. Their weapon systems are chemical-based projectiles and crude explosives. Their most advanced defense systems could be neutralized by standard Concordat technology. Their space capabilities are negligible. Solera's inner membranes pulsed with concern. The diplomatic exchanges have been productive. The humans show remarkable aptitude for learning and adaptation. Given time, they could become valuable Concordat members. Time is precisely what we cannot afford, Xalthrix responded. The hegemony expansion in the Orient sector requires immediate resource allocation. These humans sit on the largest neutronium reserve ever discovered, yet cannot utilize it. The logical conclusion is obvious. You're suggesting forced acquisition? Solara asked, her translator unable to fully convey her alarm. I'm suggesting efficiency, Xalthrix corrected. The humans will be offered a choice: surrender control of their key resource deposits and accept Concordat authority, or face appropriate measures to ensure compliance. This violates our most fundamental principles, Solara protested. We are explorers and diplomats, not conquerors. We are pragmatists, Morden countered. The humans are an evolutionary accident on a planet that should never have produced intelligent life. Their existence defies scientific principles. Their resource wealth could ensure Concordat supremacy for millennia. Xalthrix's crystalline form pulsed decisively. The Security Council has voted. The resource acquisition plan proceeds. Ambassador Solara, you will present our terms to the human leadership within one planetary rotation. As the communication ended, Solara stared at the blue-green planet visible through the viewport. She had studied human history during these months, their resilience, their capacity for both great violence and extraordinary compassion. Something told her the Concordat was making a catastrophic miscalculation. The United Nations General Assembly fell silent as Ambassador Solara's message concluded. The terms were unmistakable. Surrender Earth's sovereignty and natural resources, or face pacification. President Alvarez stepped to the podium, her face grim but resolute. The Concordat has shown its true intentions. They came not as friends, but as conquerors who see our world as a resource to be exploited and our people as an inconvenience. She paused, surveying the representatives from every nation. Throughout human history, we have fought one another over differences in ideology, religion, resources, and borders. Today, those differences mean nothing. We face an enemy that does not see us as equals, that does not even see us as worthy of existence on our own planet. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. They believe us primitive, weak, and disunited. Alvarez continued. They have misjudged us on every count. Humanity did not evolve on this impossible world by chance. We were forged by its challenges. Every earthquake, every hurricane, every ice age and drought and flood shaped us into what we are. Survivors. The assembly erupted in applause. We have 48 hours before they expect our surrender. Let us show them what humans do when backed into a corner. Captain Taver watched the tactical display with mounting concern as the Astralis maintained position in the Concordat battle group. The humans have rejected our terms, announced Fleet Commander Morden. All vessels prepare for Phase 1 operations. Neutralize their primitive defense systems and communication infrastructure. Tavor exchanged glances with Science Officer Maraville. During their weeks studying Earth, they had come to respect these impossible humans and their tenacity. Commander, Tavor ventured, the human historical records suggest they fight most effectively when threatened. Perhaps a more gradual approach. Your concern is noted, Captain, Morden interrupted. But the decision has been made. The humans had their chance for peaceful integration. Now they will learn the cost of defiance. The Concordat fleet deployed in textbook formation, their energy weapons targeting Earth's military installations, communication centers, and power grids. Victory would be swift and decisive. A primitive species against the most advanced civilization in the known galaxy. The first salvo of energy beams lanced toward Earth's surface and met an unexpected resistance. Shimmering fields appeared at each target site, absorbing or deflecting the attacks. "Impossible," Morden muttered. "They don't possess shield technology." "Sir," reported the tactical officer, "we're detecting unusual energy signatures across their planet. They appear to be using our own scanning frequencies to predict target locations and deploying countermeasures." "They've been studying us," Tavor realized. "While we assessed their weaknesses, they were identifying ours." Morden's armor plates shifted angrily. "Escalate to Phase 2. Full spectrum assault." The Concordat vessels intensified their attack, bypassing the makeshift shields to target secondary objectives. Some strikes connected, causing destruction on the surface, but the humans' response was immediate and unexpected. Earth's supposedly primitive missiles launched toward the Concordat fleet, not on predictable trajectories, but in chaotic patterns that made interception difficult. Most were destroyed before reaching their targets, but several detonated near Concordat vessels, not with conventional explosives, but with electromagnetic pulses that temporarily disrupted ship systems. "Clever," Merivale noted. "They're not trying to destroy our ships. They're mapping our defensive capabilities." "Enough games," Morden declared. "Deploy ground forces at primary resource sites. Secure the neutronium deposits." Dropships descended toward Earth's surface, carrying elite Concordat troops armed with weapons centuries beyond human technology. Victory was still assured. It would simply take longer than anticipated. Colonel Cater monitored the global defense network from the underground command center. The initial Concordat attack had been blunted, but at great cost. Several major cities had taken significant damage, and the alien ground forces were establishing beachheads near key resource locations. "They're using standardized tactics," she observed. "Identical approaches at each landing site." Dr. Patel nodded. "They're an ancient civilization with established protocols. Innovation might not be their strength." "Then we leverage our chaos," Cater decided. "Deploy the asymmetric response teams and activate Project Adaptation." Across the globe, human forces engaged the Concordat invaders with constantly shifting tactics. Where the aliens expected conventional resistance, they found empty terrain rigged with traps. Where they prepared for ambush, they encountered head-on assaults with repurposed alien technology recovered from damaged dropships. The Concordat troops, accustomed to fighting enemies who followed predictable war doctrines, found themselves confronting a species that seemed to reinvent warfare with each engagement. Meanwhile, in secure facilities worldwide, Project Adaptation teams worked feverishly. Reverse engineering captured alien technology and combining it with human innovations in ways the Concordat had never imagined. Aboard the Harmony, Ambassador Silura confronted Fleet Commander Morden. "This invasion is a catastrophic error," she insisted. "The humans aren't surrendering. They're adapting. With each passing day, they understand our technology better. They're learning at an exponential rate. They're primitives with sticks and stones against a galactic power," Morden dismissed. "Their resistance, while annoying, is temporary." "You're not listening," Silura pressed. "Look at the pattern. 3 weeks ago, they could barely deflect our energy weapons. Now they're replicating them. The neutronium deposits you covet. They've discovered how to weaponize them against our ships. This species evolved on a death world, Commander. Adaptation isn't just their strength. It's how they survived it all." A communication officer interrupted. "Commander, we're detecting unusual activity in Earth's upper atmosphere. Energy signatures unlike anything in our database." The main view screen displayed a startling sight. Dozens of orbital platforms deploying around Earth, constructed from a hybrid of human and salvaged Concordat technology. "What are they doing?" Morden demanded. The answer came in a blinding flash as the platforms synchronized, creating an energy field that enveloped the planet and reached outward, expanding toward the Concordat fleet. Evasive maneuvers. Morden ordered, but too late. The field washed over the ships, not damaging them, but somehow interfering with their core systems. Ship after ship reported propulsion failures, weapons systems shutdowns, and communication disruptions. They've created a neutronium-based dampening field, Merivale reported in astonishment. They've turned our own technology against us. The communication system crackled to life. President Alvarez's face appeared on the main screen. This is Earth's unified command to the Concordat fleet. Your vessels are now immobilized, but life support remains functional. We have no desire for unnecessary casualties. You came to our world seeking resources and found an enemy you believed primitive and weak. You were mistaken. She paused, her expression firm, but not vengeful. Here are our terms. The Concordat will withdraw all forces from Earth space. You will acknowledge Earth's sovereignty and our right to our own resources. In return, we offer something more valuable than neutronium. An alliance with a species that has mastered the art of survival against impossible odds. Silence fell across the Concordat command center. Morden's living armor contracted in fury, but before he could respond, Supreme Overseer Salthrix's communication signal overrode the channel. This is Supreme Overseer Salthrix. The Concordat acknowledges your impressive response to our regrettable actions. Your terms are accepted. The fleet will withdraw once your dampening field is deactivated. After the communication ended, Tavor turned to Merivale. They did the impossible again. Perhaps we should reconsider what impossible means when applied to humans, Merivale replied thoughtfully. 6 months later, Earth's first official diplomatic delegation arrived at the Concordat Central Chamber. Colonel Cater, now Ambassador Cater, led the human representatives into the vast hall where 500 alien species watched with newfound respect. Supreme Overseer Salthrix's crystalline form pulsed with formal blue light. The Galactic Concordat recognizes Earth as a sovereign world and welcomes humanity as an associate member of our interstellar community. Cater stepped forward. Humanity accepts this recognition and looks forward to peaceful exchange of knowledge and culture. Your species has demonstrated remarkable capabilities, Salthrix acknowledged. The Concordat Scientific Division has revised its classification protocols to account for unexpected evolutionary pathways. Perhaps the greatest lesson, Cater suggested, is that adversity breeds strength. Earth's harsh conditions didn't prevent our development. They ensured it. As the formal ceremony continued, Dr. Paddle leaned toward Colonel Cater and whispered, "They still don't fully understand us, do they?" Cater smiled slightly. "No. And that's our greatest advantage going forward. They see what we've accomplished, but not what we're capable of becoming." On the viewing platform, Captain Tavor watched the proceedings with Science Officer Merivale. "I've been studying human literature during our time here," Merivale said. "They have a concept called anti-fragility, things that gain strength from disorder, stress, and volatility. Most species seek stability and predictability. Humans evolved in chaos and learned to thrive within it. And now they're stepping onto the galactic stage," Tavor observed. "Indeed," Merivale replied. "The Concordat has existed for 12,000 years with little fundamental change. Then humanity arrives, a species that transforms itself constantly, that redefines impossibility as simply another challenge to overcome." Tavor watched as the human delegation moved confidently among the alien representatives, already building alliances and exchanging ideas. The Concordat will never be the same, he realized. These humans from their impossible world have changed everything. "Perhaps," Merivale suggested, "that's exactly what we needed." As Earth officially joined the galactic community, neither humans nor the Concordat could predict how this union of ancient stability and dynamic innovation would reshape the universe. But one thing was certain. The species from the impossible world had proven that their greatest strength wasn't technology or resources, but their relentless ability to adapt, overcome, and transform adversity into advantage. The Galactic Concordat had mocked Earth as uninhabitable. They had dismissed humans as an evolutionary mistake. They had attempted conquest, expecting easy victory. They had been wrong on every count, and the universe would never be the same.